Hey, what's up? I'm Brian Lee, and I build Slingshots. Christmas time gets a little crazy. Just sold my last one. It's 2 weeks before Christmas. Batched out some more. Let's go. So there's one reason that Slingshots really work. And it's because they're fun. It doesn't matter if you're 9 years old, 6 years old, 5,000 years old. Slingshots are just cool. I think the main reason these do so well is because they're customizable or personalized, and they actually gift really well, and they look really good when you receive one. It's a full package deal. But what's better than that, or another cool thing, is they're actually really fun to make. They nest really well. You don't have to use a CNC to make them. I've designed 3D printed jigs and different little things to help me package them along the way. And I designed a belt grinder that I hook up to an old drill that runs on a foot switch that I use to sand these things. I 3D printed it and used some skateboard bearings and used a CNC to cut out the shape. It's pretty cool, it works great. And you can just batch out a bunch of these on the weekend when you don't have much going on and just put it in this little box, and everything's self-contained. And when an order comes in, you laser the name on it and assemble it and ship it out. They're really fun to make. So this video is about having a small shop and creating systems and processes to create something fun that could be an awesome gift or even something you plan on selling. For the past couple of years, I've been putting these out, and right around Christmas time, I do a little push on Instagram, and they actually do really well. And the cool thing is people usually have more than one kid that they're shopping for, so you get multiple orders from one family or customer. So I do sell these on Etsy, so I want to talk about that for a second. So one thing about Etsy is they take a 6.5% as an Etsy seller's fee, plus a 20-cent fee as a listing fee, and then a 3% fee for credit card processing. But on the back end, if you share your link yourself, it's called share and save, and they waive that 6.5% fee. So basically, you're only paying for credit card processing, which you'll pay anyway through any other online sale, plus just a 20-cent listing fee. So it's really not that bad. People don't know that, and they think Etsy takes a ton of the revenue. But if you're sharing your link and people are clicking on it directly, then they really don't take that much. And yeah, I mean, I use Etsy, I have Etsy, and I don't love it. There's things about it that aren't great, but you just got to decide if it's right for you. So here's a fun little Etsy story. My buddy Frank, he purchased one off the link in my Instagram story, went to Etsy, made the order, I made it, and he came and picked it up instead of me shipping it. And so I marked it as complete. And because I didn't add tracking information, I actually got dinged that month on Etsy. So that was a bit of a rub. And here's another rub. If you have one of these lunchbox planers by DeWalt, don't plug it into a 15 amp circuit. Go for the 20. But if you're just starting out or don't have a huge following like I don't on Instagram, then having the built-in customer base from Etsy might be a good way to go, but they are going to take a percentage and it's going to be fairly high. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we have this walnut broken down and milled to spec, and this is straight off of the planer. When I first picked up the DeWalt from Marketplace, the first thing I did was put the helical head cutter on it, and it comes out great. The finish is nice. So once you have your stock where you need it to be to get some slingshots on it, it's a really choose your own adventure. If you have a CNC, you can go that route. If you don't have a CNC, a bandsaw, a jigsaw, A hand saw, a fret saw, and a little bit of gumption goes a long way. Or, if you're a big enough nerd, you could 3D print your own router template. And why not? 3D printed tools work just fine. And this allows us to use this totally blown out piece of wood to make some really cool looking slingshots. This tabletop bandsaw has probably been the best $40 I have ever spent on Marketplace. So if you're going to be template routing, make sure to cut as close to that Sharpie line as you can to take off the least amount of material when routing. And if you've never template routed before, I would not suggest starting with a slingshot due to the irregular shape. But first we got to go back to the CNC to get it caught up. And for anyone wondering, this machine is called a Onefinity. It's a CNC. They're a smaller company. They're pretty big now actually, but I got this a long time ago and this was one of their first models and it's still running great. Definitely check out Onefinity. So when I started my business in woodworking, I wanted to get a CNC for custom signage and different sort of things like that, projects like these. And once you learn it and learn the programming, it's just another tool that you can use. And for any of you with a CNC out there, I would suggest taking some time to dial in your tabs. It saves you a ton of time on the cleanup and other things if your tabs are just easy. So I designed my tabs at 0.08 inches tall. If you do it that tall, then the bearing rides above the tab, so you can just kind of mow over it and it's not really a thing. You don't have to flush cut it. It kind of just does two operations in one. And I know from those camera angles that it looks like my fingers are very close to the bit, but they aren't really that close to the bit. And I have full control over the part. But you can do this with a push stick kind of situation. So that brings us back to flush cutting with the 3D printed template. I didn't feel comfortable holding this thing with my hands, so I'm using the push block, and it feels a lot safer that way. And I'm not going to say that it feels completely comfortable because anytime you're flush cutting, it always feels a little sketchy. So just be safe. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to tell you how not to do it. So do what you feel is safe. I will tell you that shallow passes and having a good grip, a lot of control on the situation makes it feel a lot less dangerous. So that's good. And one last thing. Did I mention to be safe? I think you get the idea. So let's drill some holes. On the CNC, I have the end mill just spot drill where the rubber band is going to go through. I don't have the end mill drill that hole all the way out because I don't like an end mill going through that much material at 16,000 RPMs. And sitting in that hole, it's a lot of friction. So I just have a spot drill that hole, and then I come back with my drill press and just finish the hole with a 1/4 inch Forstner bit, or you can just use a handheld drill if that's what you got. All right, so that's how we process all the slingshots, and now we're gonna start shipping them custom. So now I head over to the laser studio, which is conveniently located right next to my miter saw. And I made this 2-sided laser jig for the slingshots, so I never have to kind of align anything. All I do is place it where it needs to be, pull up the program, hit start, and let it do its thing. This little X-Tool laser is awesome. It's really small. It only does about a 4-inch by 4-inch area, but it does it really fast. So a small shop, it works perfect. But I think bigger shops that had to crank some little things out, I think it would be very beneficial for them to have too, and it's not very expensive. Once I flip the jig over, then I go into the program and put in the name to be personalized, frame it up on the actual part, make sure I like where it's going to be placed, and hit start. And I'll speed this up a little bit, but it takes about 20 seconds to burn this twice. So when I first got my 3D printer, I wanted to see if I could actually 3D print some tools that I designed and just kind of check out how solid they would be. And so I came up with this belt sander. It sounds silly, but it works really good. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's a toy. I've been roofing for 37 years. You could never use that on a roof. But the thing works. It's fun to make, and my kids use it. And if it gets them out in the shop to play around with some tools, I'm cool with it. Next, I just do some fine touch-up sanding and we're ready to ship. So now it's time to package, and everything fits in this box that I keep up on a shelf. I have my packaging from Amazon. I ship 20 balls with every order, so I got really tired of having to count 20 balls. So I made this tray kind of scoop deal that once I scoop it in the bag, it pulls out 20 balls, and then I dump them into this funnel and it fills the bag for me. The best thing I ever invented. Next, I have these leather stops for the rubber band, and you'll see how they work in a second. But I have a leather punch that punches these little ovals, and then I just punch as many of those as I can out of this leather strap that I found, and it looks really finished when it's all assembled. Next, I take some wire and I feed the rubber band ends through the holes in the slingshot. And then I take those leather stops and I put those through the loops and then give it a little tug, and that's what captures the rubber band through the slingshot. Next, I take the slingshot, the balls, and a couple stickers and put them in the bag, and I'm ready for the header card. So the header card is just a craft paper sleeve that I wrap around the outside, and you'll see that in a second. But I 3D printed this jig so I can fold it exactly where I wanted it to be, and they're always just consistent. Finally, I slap a sticker on the card, slide that sleeve onto the packaging, and it's ready to go, ready to ship. And that's what I came up with for a sweet little product to offer around Christmas time, even though I do sell them year-round on Etsy, and they do pretty well. So as we're getting to the end here, I want to thank you for checking out my second video. If you're here from the first one, a lot of things have happened since that video went live. I've sourced a legit plastic supplier. I don't have to go to Walmart anymore, so that's good. I've also got some help upping production, and I've worked out a few other things to just make my life a little easier. So yeah, I just want to thank you again, and if you're interested in the files for these slingshots, there'll be a link in the description. And also, I want to thank all my Patreons. The file is free for members. No, I'm just kidding. No one's over there, but the files are. And if you'd like to see some tutorials and just keep up to date, I would love to have you over there as well. And just being a subscriber to the channel would be awesome. I'm just starting out on YouTube, so it's been a great experience so far. So if this kind of stuff you're into, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.